You take away the radar, and everyone loses their minds. To be honest, this was my favorite Trials of Osiris ever. I think Trials should stay like this. What I really liked about this mode, though, was the no revives. I'm tired of people running in point blank, just getting a revive in front of my face, getting immunity frames, and an overshield for not choosing to have a gunfight. I don't really like the way that plays out. Now, some people might say, oh, elimination's going to play a little bit more campy, but that's the point. It's elimination. You want a fast-paced game? Go to Rumble. Go to Clash, 6-man. Well, maybe not Clash, because if you're playing it perfectly, you would be sitting in the back of the map, just picking people off. But for now, if you want a fast-paced game, go to Rumble. Maybe go to Skirmish and, make up some rules so that you guys can run at each other with a shotgun and blow each other's brains out, all the skill in Destiny. And I think it goes without saying at this point that this is a live commentary, so don't take too much of what I say to heart, but these are my first impressions, my initial reaction to Trials. Now keep in mind I played 2 cards, started on my 3rd, then we got a little too tired because it's 5:48 a.m.? Yeah, it's pretty late. Anyway, no revives was amazing. Basically, if you're a good player, you don't die in the first place, so you don't even have to worry about revives. And then if for some reason the other team outskills you, you actually have a chance in a 1v3 because they're not just going to, camp revives. Now don't get me wrong, if you do find yourself in a 1v3 situation, they're probably going to camp the control point. But that's okay. If you're hyper-aware, semi-confident at Rumble, and your teammates have some pretty solid callouts, you can force some 1v1s. Maybe not an exact 1v1, but you can maybe peek an angle that they weren't expecting, pick off a guy, retreat, rinse and repeat 2 more times. That's how it works. On the other hand, if you find yourself in a 3v1, you have some options. You can all stick together in a tight pack, charge your supers, you can split up and try to hunt, bad idea. Hold the control point, probably a good idea. Or do what I like to do, sit third person in a moat and be human radar. Just literally call out for your teammates. You're going to basically be bait, but you're the human radar. You're trusting your teammates to, shoot their guns. So as you can imagine, this probably makes it a little more difficult for Sherpas, because their 3rd player that they gotta carry is now required to have some level of callouts, which is never expected before. It's usually 2 people do the work, and because of revives and the way Trials works with a radar, they can kind of overpower average to above average teams. You guys have heard the old adage, you give a man a fish, eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, eats for a lifetime. Now that's kind of the same thing. It's really going to force all these Sherpas, because it's a really popular thing to do nowadays. You're going to force them to actually, teach these people to fend for themselves. Because in this game mode, it's not all about gun skill. Communication and just being hyper aware, looking at your surroundings, checking your corners, little things like that, they really add up and maybe are even more important than gun skill in this game. Here's my absolute favorite part right now. Everyone's complaining about, running in a straight line with a shotgun. While that might work on this game mode, you'll get punished if a team knows what they're doing. Now that's always the case. You will get punished if a team knows what they're doing and you do this in regular Trials, but especially in this one. They have no radar, no way to react to 3 people shooting them from different angles. They might trade. Probably not though. What I didn't like is no radar means fusion rifles not quite as effective, because you use the radar to get a kind of feel for where someone is, and then using your prior game knowledge, you charge that bitch up, slide around the corner, and then just evaporate them because, you read them like a book, you know exactly where they are. In the grand scheme of things, I think this was a really good experiment. This showed people, how to run Trials without a radar. And, maybe this is good data or knowledge for Bungie to look at for Destiny 2 and how the radar mechanics should work. I've heard some good things being tossed around. Me personally, I almost think it should be like Battlefield. You're off the fucking radar until you shoot. Once you shoot, you're on the radar. Of course, if you're really far away, you're probably not going to ping on the radar. But if you're within that ring, yeah, you'll be there. I think if you use an ability jump, you should be on the radar. You crouch, off the radar completely. So duck walking could be a thing, but maybe I'm not really thinking far enough ahead on this. Remember, these are just my initial reactions, so maybe in a week from now I'll be like, no, those were some pretty stupid ideas. But for now, that's what I'm sticking with. I think this is Just some great little data, statistics, whatever you want to call it, for Bungie to look at to see how dependent is the player base on a radar. Can we tweak this? Now, I've thought this one from day one on Trials. Revive, immunity frames, and revive shield need to go. Maybe give a shield to the guy being revived, but not the one reviving him. That's the most I would compromise on. Past that though, don't die in the first place. It's that simple. Okay, so next thing on the chopping block, let's talk about subclasses and what's effective in this game mode. Night Stalker, still king. Still king. Can't deny that. Now Sunsinger, that moved up a couple pegs because you can revive when no one else can. Not to mention, keep this a secret. I don't want to see this being spammed, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So it's probably going to be spammed. Purify robes. Yeah, remember those things that blind people? They're hilarious. And I want to mention one other thing real quick while it's on my mind. We got to stop looking at subclasses in every single game mode. They have strength in one game mode, but maybe not necessarily another. Like for instance, in doubles, Night Stalker, Stormcaller, they're pretty damn good. I'm going to say that right now. But if you're talking about 6v6, I'd almost want all gunslingers or all defenders on my team at all times. But then on the other side of the coin, you throw a gunslinger in a 3v3 and suddenly he starts to struggle. Because not all classes are built for all game modes. So back to what I was saying. Kind of how the tier list shifts. Night Stalker still at the top. Sunsinger moved up a couple pegs. Everything else kind of stayed the same, though you could make the argument that maybe skip grenades help a lot because as they're tracking people, you can see them through the wall and give valuable information to your teammates. That's it though. Axiom Bolt, it's probably not going to hit because they're going to run away. Doesn't give you that much valuable information. In fact, it might mess things up because they're going to run where you can't tell where the hell they're going to end up. Now, you would think that smashes, Nova Bombs, one-hit kill supers of that nature would be great. But I think that the third-person supers, i.e. Stormcaller, Blade Dancer, not Sunsinger, unless you carry around a sword, which is damn good plan. Just carry around a sword, use it most of the time, lead with fusion grenades. That's how you play without a radar. Opens you up to third person when everyone else is playing first. Night Stalker gets third person every time they shade step. So another reason that's good. Twilight Garrison, go to third person. Third person, wider field of view, therefore less likely that someone's going to flank you. Very simple. And I know what you're thinking. Will a Nova Bomb and a Smash always beat a Blade? Well, that's the thing. You don't pop a Blade and just run in there blindly. Use your third person camera to look around. Throw skip grenades, to make them run. And try to bait those supers. Because, they don't know where they are. Like, just look at the gameplay in the background. That guy didn't know I was up there. Imagine popping a Blade. You'd scare the shit out of people. Pop a Blade above someone's head, they'll smash instantly if they're not a good player. If they're a good player, they might hold on to it and wait till they physically swipe you. Which in that case, you use grenades, Razor's Edge, and other tools. Honestly, you kind of use Blade like you did in year, 2 and 2.5, where Blade was kind of the joke of the supers in my opinion. Use it just to make people move from their campy hidey holes. Let your teammates team shot them. A lot of the times though you might find yourself in a 1v3 or a very, wow, that was embarrassing, but you might find yourself in an unfavorable situation and you're forced to Blade. Just do what I said. You gotta be evasive. That brings me to my next point. Keep in mind, when you kill someone, they can see you on the ghost. I almost want Bungie to take this one step further. When you die, just black out your screen. Now that would be hilarious. Like, everyone would suffer. And I almost just want to see how people adapt, but... Anyway, let's assume that it doesn't happen. So, you die, they can see you in third person. Or, you kill them, they can see you in third person. That's the way I was trying to word that. So, they can tell their teammates where you are at all times. That's not good. So you gotta assume that they're giving their teammate, some quality callouts of where you are. You gotta be aware of what angles a teammate could possibly see you at. You gotta pretend that there's someone on your ass with a shotgun at all times. You gotta be evasive. Zigzag, serpentine motions. Be unpredictable as you move away. And it makes people struggle. It even makes the person on the other side of the mic struggle to give callouts because they're like, oh, he's here. Now he's here. Oh, he went back. No, he faked. He slid. Oh, he's doing zigzags. Now he's just shooting his multi-tool spinning in the middle of the map. You kind of get what I'm going with this. Like, Just be a bit of a wild card when you know that they're giving their teammates callouts. It's gonna frustrate them, maybe make them overcommit when they shouldn't, and yeah, just think. So again, synopsis, I love this game mode. Now for those of you not liking this game mode as much, just take it with a grain of salt. Use it as a learning experience. If you're struggling in one area of this game mode, try your best to fix that, because once the radar's back, once revives are back, you'll be an even better player. Trust me. And for like maybe the 100th time on this channel, I gotta reiterate it. Destiny's a game. It's not built to be perfectly competitive yet. So keep that in mind. This is the last thing I'm saying. Lag in this game mode is destructive. If you experience lag, you might as well just like leave the game. That's how much of a difference it makes. And I'll explain this quickly. I did say this was the last thing, and this is the last thing I'm talking about. Lag. In normal trials, if you experience a laggy person, and he, by a miracle, you know, shoots you through the wall, pulling some godly strategies out of his ass, he does that kind of stuff. The fact that you can be revived is pretty scary. Scary enough to make them, you know, be predictable. Not the case in elimination. If you get wall banged, your shots don't register when they're supposed to, short stopping. Oh my god, am I short stopping lately? If all that happens, you're screwed, because you don't get to revive again. That little fear of being revived, it's not there anymore. So they'll just collapse on your teammates. They'll do the smart thing. I've been really bad about this lately, so I'm really stressing this to you guys. You're gonna experience lag. You're gonna experience that unkillable person. Be helpful to your teammates. When you're down, don't even say, oh my god, he shot me through a wall. Just start calling out immediately. You have all the time after the game to complain. Maybe don't complain. Well, that about wraps things up. So, guys, have fun out there. Enjoy this new experience. Learn some new things. I'll see you later. Okay, maybe I will comment on this. That was just fucking absurd. There's no reason I should have got away with that. Alright, have a good rest of your day, guys. See ya.